There are actual human children outside. Oh. Hello, my loves. It's your fairy godmother Mint, and welcome back to my couch where I talk about things. I have a little bit of a cold, like 70%. It's trying really hard. Yule and my husband both have colds, and I've been really working not to get it, but you know. Today I wanted to talk about becoming a witch versus being born a witch because, as you guys know, I did receive 2 books from the Witch's Book last month to read from Devin Hunter, the Witch's Book of Spirits and the Witch's Book of Power, which is out on loan. As it happens when you get books, people get excited, they want to read them. They're both actually quite excellent books, but they did bring up the memories of having this discussion with people in the past of, are you born a witch or can you become a witch? Is anyone able to become a witch? Before we get into that discussion, here is a word from our sponsor. Are you sick? Tired? Generally weird in public? I'm ready!
It's a business luncheon.
I know. You incredibly busy. Do you have 500 children, 500 cats, or just 500 things to do? Are you just lazy and don't feel like going outside? Do you dislike human people?
Hi, do you,
Are you a witch that just doesn't have time to go out and search for books on witchcraft in the wild where it's really hard to find some sometimes? Well, have I got a service for you, The Witch's Book. It's a wonderful subscription service which sends you 2 books a month every month for just $30, free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Free. You get 2 really wonderful books in the mail and also access to a wonderful forum where you can talk to other people who are reading the same books that you are, which is great because if you can't find a witchy community in your area, it's hard to talk to other people about witchcraft. So, with the Witch's Book, you get access to that wonderful forum, 2 books, and also a chance to talk to the author themselves in a live chat. This is a wonderful subscription service that I absolutely love, and I have an affiliate code. Shout out to the Witch's Book and the Witch's Box for sending me an affiliate code. That is wonderful. I super duper appreciate it. If you click on the link in my description box, you can get your own subscription to the Witch's Book, which will also help me out because I do get a commission from that, which is awesome because this is what I do for a living. So thank you, I super duper appreciate it. Mwah! Now back to you, Mint. Thanks, Beach. So about these books, they're both really, really good books. The Witch's Book of Power is more of an introductory book to witchcraft in general. Devin Hunter's point of view is very interesting to read about. He did create his own spiritual practice, which is called Sacred Fires, which is absolutely fascinating. I love to read more about it. In the Witch's Book of Power, he goes through a lot of the basics of witchcraft, some terms that you'll need to know, different ways to use your power, to hone your power, and to discover the power within you. In the Witch's Book of Spirits, which I absolutely loved so much, he gets a little bit more into advanced stuff, talking about working with spirits, working with spirit in general, different spiritual planes, as in angelic planes, fairy realm, all kinds of really interesting things. The Witch's Tree, meeting spirit guides, animal guides, Witch's Flight, which is something that is very interesting to talk about if you ever hear about, you know, witches flying on their broomsticks, that sort of thing. It actually gets broken down really well into this book, and it gives you a lot of interesting ways to fly in quotation marks because you're not gonna be in the sky physically with your human body. He also talks about finding your familiar. This is just a really, really great book. It's definitely like a secondary book. After you've read your introductory book, you can read the Witch's Book of Power or any other books that are like introduction to witchcraft, and then this one is definitely your next step. When you start to work really with the spiritual realm, there's stuff about mediumship in here. It's just, I really loved it, and I'll be honest, when I first received the books and I started to read the first couple of pages, the introduction and such, I did have that feeling of, maybe I'm not gonna like these books. It reminded me of having conversations with people where they would separate witches from other humans, as if witches are like their own species instead of just people who practice witchcraft. And so I was like, oh, I don't know. But I ended up really, really loving both of them, especially this one. This one is just really super informative and very, very interesting. So I do recommend that you read them. I recommend that you read everything always because any bit of knowledge is going to help you on your path. But I definitely recommend this one. I really loved it. So as I was saying, it really did get me think about the conversation of people either being born a witch or becoming a witch, because there are different schools of thought on this. Some people believe that there are people who are born with special gifts and a special sort of soul path that makes them a witch when they're born. So it's something that you can't escape, that will grow inside you until your powers are released, you know, and it's just your path. And then there are some people that believe that everyone is all the same. You all have these different powers or these different sort of gifts within you, and then they can be awakened by practice, by learning how to do it yourself, or by some kind of event that shakes that out within you. I'm sort of in between. I do believe that anyone can practice witchcraft or practice magic. I don't think that you have to use the title of a witch to use these things. I don't think that, that people who are born with certain gifts associate themselves with witchcraft all the time, because I know they don't. In my experience, I've had lots of friends who are mediums, who are psychics, who are clairvoyant, clairsentient, and they do not associate with witches. They don't call themselves witches. They don't use witchcraft at all, because those two things are not, they're not always linked. Witchcraft and having psychic gifts and different senses, they're not always linked. And I learned that through meeting people who didn't link them. When it comes to being able to understand things that haven't happened, see things that aren't there. It just sounds like schizophrenia, but you know what I mean. People having gifts of sixth sense or having prophetic dreams and stuff like that has always been part of my mom's side of the family, but they do not at all associate with any kind of magic or anything like that. That's not my mom's side of the family. My dad's side is the opposite. So it really depends on who you are and your upbringing and what you believe. I get a lot of messages, people asking me, you know, I really love animals, does that mean I'm a witch? And I say, no, it means you really love animals. There are so many people in your family, ancestors alike, that have the same interests that you do. It doesn't mean that they are automatically that thing. Just because you love animals doesn't mean that you're going to be a veterinarian, or that you are someone who's going to work with animals and that you are an animal or you were one in the past life. There are so many reasons why we like the things that we do, why we associate things the way that we do, why we're interested in the things that we're interested in. It doesn't always necessarily mean that that's because you are, you know, born to be this thing. It means that that's something that you're interested in. I absolutely love yarn, but I'm not interested in making yarn at all. I also absolutely adore animals, but I am not interested in giving them shots or opening up their bodies or anything like that. That grosses me out. You know what I mean? And I love healing people. I love working with people, and Willie just came in. I love herbal medicine and I love Chinese medicine, but I'm not at all interested in becoming a nurse or a doctor. Not at all. Just because you love crystals and you love trees, it doesn't mean that you're automatically a witch. It means that you have a lot of interests that can grow through witchcraft, absolutely. Now, there are a lot of gifts that people are born with, like I said before, such as like psychic abilities, mediumship, clairvoyance, clairsentience, that can be explained and that can be worked with through witchcraft, whereas if you're part of another religion, they may be shunned upon or shunned upon, is that correct? I don't know. Shunned upon. It just sounds weird. I don't know. There are some things that you might want to talk about, and they are not. They're like taboo subjects. Something that people are like, no, don't talk about that. You know, or don't. The interest is bad and wrong, and you shouldn't have that interest, or just get rid of that thought. Don't get rid of that thought. Explore yourself. Explore these things and figure out what they can mean. And when you're working with witchcraft or different types of spirituality, you can explore those things because they aren't taboo subjects, and you can talk about them, and you can grow those gifts and use them. So all of that isn't to say that if you are born with these, my son, if you are born with these different types of gifts and senses, that they won't help you with witchcraft, because they most definitely will. Being able to see things and to understand things and having a heightened awareness and a heightened intuition will definitely help for you to receive signs faster and easier, and to understand them and know how to use them. What am I saying now? I'm forgetting. I'm getting so distracted by you running around. So I mean, it's really up to you. It's really up to how you feel. And honestly, to me, it doesn't really matter. It kind of reminds me of the whole Harry Potter, like pure blood versus, you know, like muggle type of thing. I don't really adhere to that. There are people who will respect you more and you know, take your words more seriously if you are born into a family of witches, which I think really sucks for people who work really hard at their practice and who have studied and have created their own path to spirituality, and it's like their magic isn't worth as much as someone who has been born into a witch family. Like that's bullshit to me. But it really doesn't matter to me what kind of background you come from, as long as you are devoted to your practice and that you love what you're doing and it's important to you and it's special to you. That's all that matters to me. Spirituality is your business, and how you were born is your business, and anything can be taught to anyone. Sometimes people just need different teaching methods, which is why I make videos, because some people learn better with me talking to them than reading a book. But anyway, I am rambling, talking about other things now. Oh, I did get, let me see, more books from the Witch's Book this month. We got The Elements of Spellcrafting, and we've got Financial Sorcery, which I know you guys are excited about because I get so many DMs about magic for money making, for getting a job, all of those things. So I'm hoping to find some kinds of little activities in here that I can share with you guys. Also, like I said before, if you want to try the Witch's Book, which is a fantastic subscription service, go ahead and hit the link in my description box and you can go ahead and get the Witch's Book for yourself. It really is so convenient, and it's like Christmas when I open up my mailbox and I see these books in there and I'm like, yes, oh my gosh, it's just, I love it. And I think it's a really great service for people like me who are not able to get out to the bookstore all the time for whatever reason that you have. It's really nice to have things delivered to you in the mail. Also, I have a brand new collection coming out next week. It's called Celestial Royalty. It's a beautiful themed collection of candles, bath salts, ritual oils, scarves, hats, pouches, and all kinds of other magical goodies. So please check that out next week when it comes out. Oh, and by the way, everyone who bought candles from me last week, or was it last week, 2 weeks ago, thank you so much. That helped for me to pay for my mom's moving truck. My mom is now moved into her new apartment. Everything is squared away, so thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful, magical day. I love you. Call your mom, tell her you love her. Call your brother, ask him what's up, and have the best weekend ever. Mwah!